What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Your boy W Coats. This is day 47, 48 days with the 48 laws, second to last day. Pick up a copy in the link in the description below. And let me jump right in. Law 47, do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. Judgment. The moment of victory is often the moment of greatest peril. In the heat of victory, arrogance and overconfidence can push you past the goal you have aimed for. And by going too far, you make more enemies than you defeat. Do not allow success to go to your head. There is no substitute for this strategy. In careful planning, set a goal, and when you reach it, stop. So the first is a transgression of law. Cyrus, he was in Persia, and he had a grandfather in Medes, and basically he leads an army to defeat his grandfather, and basically he is crowned the Medea and the Persian king. And from there, he leads on a succession of victories, and he ends up being the great king of the world, as they kind of knew it. So he had everything that was all around him. And after capturing Babylon, there was another. He wanted to go east, into more towards Asia, and there's a place called Massagetai, and it was on the Caspian Sea, and Queen Tamiris was the one who read it. So he wants to attack it. So Queen Tamiris basically warns him. He goes, King of Medes, I would advise you to abandon this enterprise, for you cannot know if it will end. If the end it will do any good, rule your own people and try to bear the sight of me ruling mine. But of course you will refuse my advice, as the last thing you wish for is to live in peace. So she was very confident in her army and their ability. She actually withdrew them past the sea to kind of allow him to cross the sea. So she withdrew, basically showing, just step back. I'll step back. Let's just both take a step back. So Cyrus actually crosses the sea and sets up this elaborate trap. So he sends his weak troops over and has them camp out across the sea. She sees this, so then she's like, it's on, attacks them, and she beats them. But what he does is, in that camp, he puts, since their empire, the Massagetai, they didn't have great luxuries and wine and feast and different things that they had. So he puts a bunch of wine, good feast, and all this stuff over there, and they defeat his army with very much ease, because it's a weak army, and then they capture it, but then they get kind of lost in the trappings of what they view as success, because they view it as they defeated the army that's across the sea. He had a secret army hiding a little bit ways back. They attack at night when they all fell asleep, destroy all of them, and then their general, actually her son, captures her son. And then at that point, the queen hears of what happens, and this is what she says. Now listen to me. Well, this is what she writes. Now listen to me. Now I'll advise you for your own good. Give me back my son and leave my country with your forces intact, and be content with your triumph over a third part of Massagetai. If you refuse, I swear by the sun, our master, to give you more blood than you can drink for all the gluttony. And then basically Cyrus is like, I'm not going to release your son. And her son, not being able to bear the sight of, he knew he wasn't going to be released, and he's imprisoned and all that, he kills himself, basically. Now that he kills himself, Queen Tamiris basically flips the fuck out, and she goes crazy and just attacks Cyrus's army and basically destroys all of them, actually destroying him within. She basically infused a crazy rage, almost like battleground, like Sun Tzu says in the Art of War, and then she chops his head and fills his gourd or something with blood, basically to metaphorically and symbolically do what she wrote, it's going to be more blood than you can drink. And she basically said, though I've conquered you and live, yet you have ruined me by treacherously taking my son. See, now I fulfill my threat. You have your fill of blood. And she won, and then Persian's empire actually unravels after this battle. So one mistake, overreaching too far, basically destroyed the whole empire. The funny thing is, through the history of the Persian empire, they had been in power before, and this had happened before, of their overreaching. So basically he couldn't understand the lessons. He thought that every fucking battle was the same, and this one had turned out to not be, and basically he paid the ultimate price, and then the Empire paid the ultimate price of unraveling and losing their greatness. So the second one was, and King Louis the 15th has come out. He was kind of like the shitty king that was all into superficial glory, but and his mistress, Madame de Pompadour, was his mistress, and the mistress was like the least secure position because obviously as a woman ages they become less attractive, so they often rose and then lost their position, and there was plenty other courtiers and courtesans that wanted their position, so it was a very insecure position to have. Very little promise and very little to fall back on. Only basically what you gained during your mistress time was what you'd have. But what she did was she studied him, and when she became the mistress, she actually, most of the mistresses would be very greedy, try to get as much as they can in the short amount of time, and aggressively fight off anybody else that was trying to stop them. What she did was she actually ingratiated her. She actually even made friends with his wife, the queen. She made friends with, she never really insulted anybody. She made friends with everybody, and basically instituted herself into the politics and starting to do things in the political realm. She knew the king was into a lot of like superficial pleasures and things, so she made sure she was always amusing him, so he never lost the thrill with her. And actually, when she got older and was kind of doing so much politics, she couldn't even do the things in the bed that he wanted, or maybe she just couldn't meet with him as much as he wanted. She actually convinced him to create a brothel inside Versailles where he could have a constant flow of like the youngest and prettiest women of the time. And she wasn't scared because she knew that she was pretty much irreplaceable because she had actual political power, and then she was also ingratiated with the queen as well. So she really solidified herself, and until her death, she had basically a 20-year reign that other mistresses couldn't even have dreamed of, or even had dreamed of is a good way to explain it. So she actually observed the law by not going past the mark and trying to get more and more and more, like a lot of the other mistresses did, which eventually was their demise, because they'd eventually piss off so many people and lose their beautiful looks that a new, younger one would take their place that wanted a little bit less. And she didn't do that same strategy. She did a different strategy of being a lot kinder and just gaining a lot of good relationships within. So generally, the keys to power, the whole thing is that for power, and it has its own rhythms and patterns, and sometimes it changes and you have to move with it. A lot of the times when you're winning, you want everything to stay the same and you want it to happen the same way, but because you have that arrogance in your head fills, you start to reach for things and not give it the proper time, rhythm, and pattern that it needs to become a success. The other thing is luck. Often good luck can be the worst luck of all, because when you have good luck, a lot of the times you think, I'm just great, and that's why I'm getting it. It's because I'm so skilled, that's why I'm getting it, even though luck played a huge part. And a lot of times in success, luck does play a good part. Bad luck, on the other hand, is better because it teaches you valuable lessons. So when people have a lot of good luck, generally they think it's of their own doing. And then when they're not fortunate enough to receive that good luck, they start to realize that the strategies that they've been employing actually aren't that effective. It was the combination of the strategy plus the luck. And when that luck is gone, they do something which exemplifies this, and they learn the hard way. So that's why you need to kind of stop until you make the correct plan to what you're doing. And that was basically what a lot of things happen. I mean, even in cross-examination, they talked about this with lawyers. They say always stop with a victory. So once you get them to say the thing that you need to say, a lawyer should stop. When you keep pressing, you might pull out something that kind of deflates or overrides your original point. So plan to the end and make sure you know where you want to stop. And I know that was another one. Plan all the way to the end. So you want to make sure that the victory that you set out, you get that, and then you replan for a new goal, a new victory. Don't just keep reaching just out of pure ego, arrogance, and greediness. The only reversal is just from what Machiavelli says. He says, either destroy a man or leave him alone entirely. Inflicting half punishment or mild injury will only create an enemy whose bitterness will grow with time and who will take revenge. So at that point, basically, all they're saying is that don't go halfway with things. Plan to the end and go for your victory, but your victory needs to be something completed. You don't want to overreach and create more enemies, but you don't want to go halfway and keep an enemy that you are trying to destroy. So that's really the only reversal. So that's it for this one. Pick up your copy in the link in the description below. That's Law 47. Day 48 is coming soon. Like, comment, subscribe. The last one is on its way. Peace.